Welcome to Daily Reflection with Aneel Aranha. Today is the 7th of January 2018, and today we do a reflection on the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 2, verses 1 to 12. Another long one, but another very insightful one. So let's get to it. In the time of King Herod, after Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, wise men came from the east to Jerusalem asking, "Where is the child who has been born King of the Jews? For we observed his star at its rising and have come to pay him homage." When King Herod heard this, he was frightened, and all Jerusalem with him, and calling together all the chief priests and scribes of the people, he inquired of them where the Messiah was to be born. They told him, "In Bethlehem of Judea, for so it has been written by the prophet. And you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah. For from you shall come a ruler who is to shepherd my people Israel." Then Herod secretly called for the wise men and learned from them the exact time when the star had appeared. Then he sent them to Bethlehem, saying, "Go and search diligently for the child, and when you have found him, bring me word, so that I may also go and pay him homage." When they had heard the king, they set out, and there ahead of them went the star that they had seen at its rising, until it stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw that the star had stopped, they were overwhelmed with joy. On entering the house, they saw the child with Mary, his mother, and they knelt down and paid him homage. Then opening their treasure chests, they offered him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And having been warned in a dream not to return to Herod, they left for their own country by another road. This is the gospel of the Lord. Usually when we read this passage, we reflect on the Magi and the significance of the gifts they brought Jesus. But I would like us to reflect instead on Herod and his motivation in having Jesus killed. There are four major factors involved, and they just might relate to us. So let's consider them one by one. 1. Herod was obsessed with power. Power is the most addictive drug known to man, and once you get a taste of it, you only want more. You will do anything to hold on to it, even commit murder. And we see the truth of this in every dictator who has ever walked upon this earth. I can mention a few names, but you know who they are. We see this in Herod. 2. Herod craved for possessions. A desire for wealth and what it can buy is equally addictive and just as insatiable. The more you have, the more you want. Herod built 7 palaces for himself. Think of the housekeeping. But it just wasn't enough for him. It never is. 3. Herod hungered for prestige. He wanted to be held in very high esteem by everybody and would go to great lengths to achieve it. He built several cities and named them after his bosses. Several of his 10 marriages were for just the sake of gaining favor in the eyes of people. 4. Herod was totally paranoid, and this is something that usually follows automatically from the previous 3. But in Herod's case, it was amplified by his knowledge that his father had been poisoned. So he went to extreme lengths to ensure that he was protected at all times, and also that his enemies were very quickly put to death. And now he had an enemy, a little boy, a baby boy named Jesus. Given his nature, Herod had only one option: to kill the child. Now here is a very quick reflection for us. What is it that we crave for? Power? Possessions? Prestige? And if we do, what does that make us? Now you have your own opinion of Herod, but when we seek these things, when we crave for them, we actually become imitators of Herod. Instead of being an imitator of Herod, why don't we be imitators of Jesus instead? And through this year, it would be a good idea for us to look at Jesus and try to be more and more like him with every day that passes. And in the hope of that, grace and peace be with you.